One of the biggest reasons guys fail long term isn't because they're lazy or they don't want it bad enough. It's because they actually change fuck all. They slap a plaster on a stab wound that's pissing out blood. That 8-week challenge, the new meal plan, new training block, it's just a plaster. And for sure, for a while it can feel like you're changing. But before too long, you end up right back where you started. Here's why. You never changed the real shit. You never changed how you react when you're under stress. You never changed how you handle emotions. You never changed how you act around certain people. You never changed the real habits that you have. You never changed your thoughts or your beliefs. You just covered it up for a bit and then boom, back to type. And the reason for this is simple. Your brain's wired that way. Over years, you've trained your brain to act a certain way. You've trained it that certain behaviors work. Maybe it's comfort food when you're stressed. Maybe it's skipping workouts the minute life gets a little bit busy. Maybe it's smashing a few pints on the weekend because you don't want to feel left out. And even though it screws you long term, your brain doesn't care. Your brain only cares about meeting the need right now and steering you away from threat towards reward. So when certain things crop up, your brain takes the path that it's always taken. So your brain has literally hardwired these behaviors in. That's why you keep snapping back. Before we get into how to change this though, if you've missed videos 1 through to 5, then I would highly recommend you go and watch those here. If you're thinking, who is this and why should I listen to him? I'm Connor, and over the last 4 years, I've helped over 200 clients lose 5, 10, 15, 20 plus kilos of body fat and keep it off for good, utilizing our behavior rewire system. So they can live a life of high energy and high confidence, doing the things they want, not wasting time or energy on deciding what clothes to wear to cover up their belly. And we do this without having to live off dry chicken and broccoli. Just like my client Colin, who'd got to a point where he could no longer fit in his suits. He was feeling trapped, he'd lost all confidence, and he'd been trying on and off to lose weight for years, but he'd never been successful. And he managed to lose 22 kg, which was way above his initial target, and become his fittest and happiest self yet, and actually started buying clothes in a shop that he'd previously denied himself because he never felt he deserved it. So if that sounds like something you want, then stick around. Now, if you properly rewire your brain, the going backwards will no longer be an option because you will have created a new you, a new identity, new pathways. You'll have done the real work to make this the last diet you ever need to do. So you can finally break free of the years of yo-yo dieting and stay in shape for life and have everything good that comes with that. The happiness, the high energy, the confidence, the ability to walk on the beach with your top off and not give a fuck. So what's the fix? How do we do this? It's not another 8-week challenge. It's not just try harder. We need to rewire your brain. Think about it like this. The way your muscles adapt in the gym is through constant repetitions, progressively overloading. Your brain is the same. It adapts to what you repeatedly do. If you want long-term transformation, you've got to build new pathways and put the reps in to take those paths until your brain defaults to them instead of the old shit. That's how you make change that really sticks long-term, which is exactly what we do with our clients. We don't just hand them a training program and a meal plan. Those things are important, and we do those things, of course we do, but we go so much beyond that and rewire our clients' brains, their behaviors, the way that they think. So here's an insight into how we do this. Guys fail to change their habits all the time because they go about it the complete wrong way. They try and bare knuckle them into submission. Just get rid of it. Stop doing it. It doesn't work like that because we're repeating a habit to meet a certain need, and that need will be met somehow. So if you just try to eliminate it, at some point, you will go back to doing it because it will still be there. You will still need to meet the need. What we need to do instead is be respectful of the loop. First of all, we've got to understand the current loop. So we've got 3 parts to the habit. Cue, how you feel the need. Routine, how you seek the need. And reward, how you meet the need. So an example of this could be you get in from work on a Friday night, done for the weekend, you're stressed and you want to chill. That's the cue. The routine could be you order a pizza and have a couple glasses of wine. The reward is you feel pretty damn chilled out, decompressed. Who doesn't after pizza and wine, right? Now, to change this, we need to understand the following. When and how do we feel the need to engage in this particular behavior? And what is the reward that we're chasing? How does it make us feel? What's the current routine that we use to meet the need? And what's the consequence of engaging with that particular routine, right? If we're trying to lose body fat, having the pizza and wine might be taking us away from that. So that's why we might want to change that. But now that we have that down, here's what we need to do instead. We need to swap the routine. not eliminate the routine. So think about how else can you meet the need that you're chasing? And it's important here that we work with something realistic. If you're currently nailing a takeaway and 2 bottles of wine, you're probably not gonna go from that to sacking it off and running 10 miles instead. So let me give you a real life example of this. Old client of mine, Colin, who I actually showed you at the start of this, worked a very, very stressful job. He would come home of an evening, want to chill, want to decompress. He would then have wine, cheese, and crisps. As a result, he would feel relaxed, right? But he wanted to lose fat. And those evening calories were the thing stopping him losing fat. And the body fat he had drained his confidence and stopped him performing at the levels he was really capable of at work because he lacked that confidence and conviction in himself. So we looked at this loop and understood it was happening when he got in from work. We understood he was finding a way to relax. And we knew the means in which he was meeting the need at the time. So we had this same conversation. What else gives you that similar feeling of relaxation and decompression? At the time, so Colin loved his dog Casper very, very much. And he loved taking him out for a walk, okay? He absolutely loved it. So he said, okay, well, when I get in, I'm gonna take the dog straight out on a walk instead of going for the food, going for the cheese, wine, and crisps. And for him, it rewired how he thought almost on the spot after rep 1. He was like, oh my God, right? I get that same feeling and I don't need to engage in these behaviors. And he ended up then losing 22 kg. The cool thing is we finished working together about 2 years ago and he's maintained his weight ever since because we went through this process. We actually caught up and recorded a podcast recently, which I'll pin at the top of the screen so you can listen to that here if you want. Most of the time, the first attempts and for a while will be a little bit forced, which is why it's super important to reflect on how the action makes you feel. Like, what was the result of doing it? Okay, so I want you to think about a current habit that you've got. Think about this loop and decide on a different way that you can meet the need that you're chasing. Now, onto the facts and feelings cycle. This is how all of our beliefs are made through this facts and feelings cycle. And we act as if they're factual, even though they are not, right? So the facts and feelings cycle goes like this. We start off with something happening, right? An event occurs, like you step on the scales and your weight is increased. That then creates an emotional response, frustration, shame, anxiety. We then create a narrative, feelings plus story. I always fail, I'll never change. Then that story becomes a fact to us. We believe it to be true. And then we move into belief and action. We start acting on this truth, skipping check-ins, eating worse, even though it's not an actual factual truth, it's just a truth to us. So how we begin to change this cycle is we question what is going on factually. We want to understand how we feel about it, but how we feel about it isn't a fact. Feelings are not facts, and facts are not feelings. So first of all, we've got to look at what actually happened. Look at what happened step by step, and then we can use an intervention tool to work from the beginning to stop the whole cycle from occurring in the future. Now, for us to be successful long term, we need to change how we think, because how we think dictates how we act. And we don't just do that by acting on a whim. We need to challenge these unhelpful thoughts and behaviors and provide evidence through our own reflection. And we've got 2 processes in which we do this. So we have the ABCDE method, where first of all, we look at the activating event. You're going to write down what triggered your emotions. Then you're going to move into B, your beliefs. You're going to write down what went through your mind or what A meant to you. Now, B's can be about you, others, the world, the past, or the future. You're then going to move into C, consequences. What emotions did you feel and how did you act as a result? And then D, dispute. You're going to write an alternative for each thought or belief using supporting argument and evidence. You're going to look at the effect of the alternative thoughts and beliefs. Okay, look at how you want to feel and how you want to act next time you experience this. And then we move into behavioral experimentation that goes like this. First of all, we identify what the problem is. What's the problem and how is it negatively impacting your life? Are you utilizing any safety behaviors to prevent this catastrophe in your head from coming true. We then move into what the prediction is. What will happen if you try a new way of thinking and behaving in real life? Okay, what do you think will happen? And then we look at, how do we put this to the test? What experiment can we put in place? Okay, how can we test this new way of thinking, new way of behaving? And then what we need to do is we need to look at what the result was. Did our prediction come true? And if not, what did we learn? How close was our prediction to reality? Now, we use this behavioral experimentation with one of my clients. Before coming to myself, he was working an immensely stressful job. Okay, and that stress caused him to gain a significant amount of weight. Eventually, he removed himself from that job. And just from removing the stress, he'd lost a lot of weight. Still before coming to myself at this point, okay, because that stress was gone. Now, when he started working with me, on the face of it, he made some absolutely fantastic progress. Okay, he was eating good quality meals, curries, Mexican style food, stuff like that. Nothing abnormal, but here's the thing. He was only cooking and eating foods that he felt 100% in control of. And we were on a call once. Before we got into what we were on the call to chat about, we were having a bit of a chit chat. And he said to me that he was having some friends over at the weekend. He was cooking for them, but he wasn't going to eat with them. And I was like, why the fuck not? And he told me that he was scared that if he ate different foods, the kind that he'd eaten before when he gained weight, that he would end up back where he started. In his head, those foods meant fat gain. Now, of course, that wasn't factually true. What actually causes fat gain is an overconsumption of calories, not a particular food, right? But in his mind, these foods were the enemy. So we ran a behavioral experiment. The problem for him was, if I eat these foods, I'm going to gain weight. Okay, so to avoid that, he just completely avoided these foods. But the new way of thinking was, well, I could have these foods, enjoy them, no worries, and not gain any weight. My social life, my family life will naturally improve then because I'll be able to eat at social occasions. So we ran an experiment. Initially, we looked at what foods that he was terrified of. Chili Heatwave Doritos were the big one, the first one that came to mind. Okay, so we set up an experiment. He added a couple to his meal. And the result, he ate them, he loved them, and he still lost weight that week. Nothing bad happened. So we layered on the next experiment. He ate a tracked packet of Doritos with his lunch. Then we layered again, where we started to do this non-tracked. Okay, and each time his confidence grew. He proved to himself that the fear wasn't factual, it wasn't real. And over time, he completely transformed his relationship with food. He completely changed how he thought about food. He completely rewired his beliefs. Now we can eat out with friends, cook with family, share meals, whatever, and he has zero stress about it because he proved to himself that his thinking beforehand wasn't true. He realized it's not a single food that causes fat gain, it's an overconsumption of calories. And now he has 100% control and is able to go out, be social, cook, and still get results. All of this combined with you putting the reps in over a period of time is how we create long-term behavior change so that you can get and keep these results for good. Now, if you found all of these trainings useful, you've taken a lot of value, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want help putting all of this together and taking all of the thinking out for you, there's a link below in the description where you can book a call with myself. It's not a hard sell. We'll just hop on, we'll have a chat, we'll chat about your current position, your goals, exactly where it is you want to get to and the things that you're really struggling with. And we'll build a bit of a roadmap over how we might get from A to B and how we would actually stay at B long term. And if we're aligned, I can run you through how I work and what that looks like to see if it's for you. So go ahead, book that call using the link in the description, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.